But this week we'll study together the book of Isaiah. Why should we spend a whole week studying Isaiah? Well, first of all, it's one of the longest books in the Old Testament. It's the third longest after Psalms and Jeremiah. It's the first of the major prophets, meaning the longer prophets. Isaiah also stands at a very important time in the history of Israel. So the northern kingdom of Israel is about to be, during the period of Isaiah, will be defeated and sent to captivity, and they'll never come back. So the southern kingdom, where Jerusalem is watching to see what happens in the north, and this is a warning about what will happen in the south. So this is a very critical time, a very important time in the life of the people of God. But the real reason we want to study Isaiah is because of the prophecy that it has in it about Christ. The New Testament has about 400 citations or allusions to the book of Isaiah. Isaiah, along with Psalms, are the most frequently quoted Old Testament books in the New Testament. Isaiah obviously lived before Christ came. And when he looked, there were many things in the future. To Isaiah, the future was exile, return, Jesus coming, and the return of Christ. So those events to him are all future. People like to describe it as mountain peaks. If you stand here and there's 4 peaks, you can't see them all. You might see 1 or 2, but you can't tell the distance between the 2. But if you've ever climbed mountains, when you get to the top of the first one, you say, oh, there's a big space between the first and the second. And I climb mountains as a hobby. If you've climbed mountains, you also understand there's always a higher peak behind it. So you climb up the mountain and you think you're at the top and you see, oh, there's another mountain even higher. So to Isaiah, some future events all look together like one that are really separated by time. So we have to allow for that vision and not presume that Isaiah could speak precisely about all the different peaks. And notice here an interesting idea that he confesses his individual sins and his corporate sins. Now, we don't know what Isaiah's personal sins were. He never tells us. But he recognizes individually that he has committed sin. We must always remember that even as we grow in our holiness, we still sin. Let me briefly describe why that is always true. So, sin is not only when we violate one of the 10 commandments, right? When Jesus taught the Sermon on the Mount, he taught us it's also when we violate them, when we say things, when we think things in our heart. These can also be sins. But sin is not only when we violate the commands of God in deed, word, or thought. It is also when we fail to obey the commands of God. Love your neighbor as yourself. Which of us could say, even just today, that I have loved my neighbor as much as I love myself, fully?